Yo, yo, yo! What's poppin'? All my peeps. It is I, your host with the most, Renaissance man, who always thinks he can, and double champ of the peeps, both everywhere, and Patriot Patty Pitts here for a special edition of Pitts and Sara's wrestling show. Royal Rumble instant reactions. And obviously, you can't have Pitts and Sarah's wrestling show without the best of the West. You cannot forget about Sarah Marshall. What's popping, girl? How we
I
feeling after that Rumble?
I I'm so glad that we ended with that because when we first heard that the Rumble match wasn't going to end the show and that this was going to, I was kind of disappointed because we had talked about it, how we kind of missed when the Rumble matches were ending the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm okay with how that I don't know what to say. I don't have words.
I'm struggling to put words together to fully express how I feel. And the only I'm open up Twitter obviously to retweet our show and get it out there to as many people as possible. But as I was scrolling, I see right now Alistair McKenzie with the Finland flag, I think it is. I'm giving a shout out because he follows me, and I gotta give love to my peeps. And he says the Bloodline story is the best in all of professional wrestling right now. No debate. That ending was pure cinema with every emotion possible. Sarah, you know what? I think that's a good way to sum it up right now. And sum up, I think, not only mine, but I would assume yours as well.
Yes.
Okay. That's like
Yeah.
what it's just, it was so well done. And
This can I read one quote too?
absolutely.
So this is from I don't know how to say his name. Ryan Drost. He is like a writer and whatever. He works for wrestling
Mhm.
sites and anything. He said that was incredible. Wow, when wrestling is good, it's really good. Flawless execution by everyone involved. So many layers to this story. Kevin Owens, Sammy Roman, Jay Roman, going back years at this point. That crowd response was just magic. It's like it could not have been better. And the thing that I like too is that it was everybody involved. Like it couldn't have
It
been
was
better
everybody.
from everybody. It wasn't just, oh, Roman did really well or Sammy did really well. It was like, no, they all, like, I can't, like, I want to talk about it. Like I said to someone, I'm so excited I get to talk about it. And now I'm just like, I don't know what to say. Like, I
I
don't.
I don't, because it was
uh,
not what the fans wanted. I would say it's what we needed. They
But see,
gave the
I was happy clapping because this is kind of what I wanted.
well, yeah. I
I
mean, I have a better phrase for it, but yeah.
Yeah, because like this is I didn't expect it to go this way, but I've been saying I wanted Sammy to win the Rumble. It was because I kind of wanted him to turn on Roman. Like I didn't know in what way, but I thought that would be an interesting way. And it was like the easiest and most like innocent way for him to do it because it was like, okay, he was in the Rumble match and he won. Okay. Like that's the point of being in the Rumble match. So it wasn't like a direct shot at Roman. It was like he's doing what he's supposed to.
Hmm.
But I like that this was like, I don't know. And
This was how
I
they did it. Yeah.
yeah, and just like the love that Kevin and Sammy have for each other. I'm just
I
like,
mean,
it's
he walked in today wearing a Sami Zayn Forever sweatshirt or
oh,
shirt.
I know.
Like,
Also the press conference is starting with Rhea.
my girl,
We'll get into it. We'll get into it. But anyway,
my
yeah, no,
girl.
I'm really excited to see where this goes, especially because of Jay.
Oh yeah. Oh, that
So
was, and that's the other thing from it.
that wasn't something I expected at all.
Uh, David put it best. He Jay said, "Fuck his family."
I mean, that is kind of what he did.
It was like unbelievable how they had it, because you don't even think that he's not getting in the mix. I thought, oh yeah, he's attacking him too, because he's like, "What's wrong with you? All this," and then you look over and he's in the corner, just chilling,
Mhm.
like really feeling his emotions. Actually, like he's feeling like his hands are in. Like the way he sold that moment, it was incredible. And then you think obviously the easy way, and this is why I love how they did this, was the easy way to be like, oh, he would attack Roman too and stand up for Sammy. But now,
Mhm.
like, have him leave the ring and just
Yeah.
leave, like, that's brilliant because that's another little piece of the puzzle. It's incredible.
Yeah. And that's what I'm excited about because people were hoping. I mean, there were rumors swirling and people coming up with their own theories about how this whole thing was going to end. And I remember, I think you even had talked about it, about Jay being the one that dethroned Roman. And I don't know that it's gonna be. I don't know that it's going to be an Uso that does it, just because I mean I can't imagine they're gonna split the Usos. Especially because we saw Jimmy. Jimmy stayed in the ring, beat up Sammy. So like that's not. I don't know. They're gonna figure that out. But I do like that it's deeper than just okay, the bloodline versus Sammy. I like that there's like an Uso that's like, nah, I still mess with Sammy. Like I like that aspect of it because it's something that I don't think any of us would have predicted at all.
No, no, none of us would have predicted this. It's like, and then to have Solo like go at Sammy too and hit him with
Mhm.
that, and whatever Roman said to Solo, at the entrance ramp as the final graphic is fading in and then fading out. Like that's another thing where you now have Solo as the enforcer, who my prediction obviously stands that I think he's a plant too. But just the whole element of it. And here's the thing: the match was good, actually great. It was a very good match, great main event. Um, but after the aftermath is really all I care about, which is something that I like and will hope they utilize more moving forward.
Yeah, because I mean, the match was good. I was a little bit disappointed with how it ended, just because it just felt. First of all, I was concerned about Kevin because his head legitimately hit those steel steps. So I'm
Yeah,
like, I want to make sure that he's okay because I even watched it in slow motion. I was like, no, he did not have his hands behind his head. Like, please make sure this man is okay because that's not fake steel,
no,
like
yeah,
that's not
no,
fake there. Um,
that's
yeah, so I
styrofoam.
was a little disappointed with just how it ended. But I mean, I liked everything afterwards. I feel like that kind of made up for it anyway. Like even if
Yeah,
it was a top-notch match, I think everyone would have kind of forgotten about it because of everything that they
yeah.
did afterwards.
And what they did, like, I
It was
just
just so
it
good.
was so well done, and I'm not kidding you. It takes a lot for me in wrestling, at least, to really like zone into a segment. Like really
Yeah.
zone in and like forget whatever the fuck's going on around me. And the bloodline does it every time, and especially with this, they just I just never thought it was going to end, if that makes sense. Like I just thought that this were, you know, oh, after he's going to hit or he hit Kevin KO, he beats him up, whatever, and then he
Mhm.
does the chair thing. If they did the chair thing and ended it, I would have been like, okay, Sammy's pissed, he's showing it, they're going to probably do something on SmackDown or Raw.
Mhm.
But they
Yeah.
just kept going and going, but it never felt over the top, as in like, all right, like this is just a beatdown until like if Sammy hit him or he went and hit him, with the chair or whatnot when he was handcuffed. But I love the handcuffed how he doesn't just say like, all right, screw it. Like he's like, you do it, and he just kept building and building. It's also hilarious too that Roman has been turned on twice by the same move. Like,
By
dude, just
what?
he's been turned on twice by a chair shot to the back.
Oh, I know, right? I
Like
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that's good.
that is
Um,
long term storytelling.
yeah. Yeah, I think, because we have Kyle
Oh,
asking
I
our
was gonna.
honest opinions. Well, I was just gonna say, like, if we're talking about the Rumble, I wouldn't say it was my favorite Rumble, but I think that it had moments that I really enjoyed. But I think obviously most of this show is going to be forgotten about, I would say, because I don't think it was that fantastic. nothing against and the participants in the matches or whatever, but that ending, that's what everyone's going to be talking about, and I feel like it kind of saved the show a bit, because I would say the women's rumble was better than the men's.
by
The
far.
pitch black match could have been better. I mean, it's interesting, but it
Nah,
could have been
I
better.
liked it. I thought it was fantastic.
Oh
But
wait, Bray is coming out now, I think,
in
in the
wh-
press conference.
who is it? Which one of the 6?
No, it's Bray. It's Bray, and they're doing it in the black light.
They're doing the press conference in blacklight?
Well, they were. Now they changed it, but
Oh,
yeah,
I would have tuned into it. Oh, that's
they turned him off.
okay. Well, Freddie
But
did the
anyway,
show.
I felt like there were points that were good, but like, yeah, I think for the most part, the end stole the show and kind of saved it, because I wasn't seeing a whole lot of good reactions to the overall show until the end.
But okay, so do you think that was their plan all along?
What?
It's because they had not like plan is in like, oh, we're gonna tank the show and make the bloodline great. It's like, no, they you know what it is, I don't think it was a bad show. I don't want to
I'm
give
not
that
saying it was
impression.
bad, but what I mean is they started the show with the men's rumble, which I think threw a lot of people off, because it
That's
was
what
like,
it was.
why would you
That's
do
what it
that?
was. That's
But
exactly
then
what it was.
also, as much as there were people who wanted Cody to win, that was way too predictable. Like, way too predictable. So I
Way
think
too.
that was what was disappointing for a lot of people. So even if it was that Cody was going to win, I think having him at 30 when we already knew that he was returning, like, he didn't need to be 30. It's not like it was a surprise. And then the fact that he won, I think that was kind of like disappointing to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then the pitch black match maybe wasn't what people thought it was. I mean, I didn't have any expectations for the pitch black match, so I don't
I had
know.
0. I
Yeah,
have
I
a
mean,
tweet.
it was way different than what I had anticipated. Um, and then the women's match was just kind of okay. Like, it felt like this was a lot of storytelling, like continuing of stories, the way that the matches were
Yes.
were put on and how they finished, rather than being like over the top really good. That's kind of like how it felt to me. Um and had the show ended with just Roman winning, I think that we would have just been like, okay, this was just, it almost felt like a filler type of pay-per-view. So I think that's why I think people have just really high expectations for the Rumble, and this didn't really feel like one of the top 4, at least for me, until the end.
And
But
that's
you
what
don't want the final 15 minutes to be the only part that was like noteworthy, you know?
well, the way I see it is I really enjoyed this pay-per-view, but not like a little kid in a candy store. I enjoyed it like you watch a good movie, or I'm gonna use a really old term, but like enjoy a book in a way. Cause like you're not like overly excited, like, oh my god, that was fucking awesome. I need to like you're hyped up, you're like, wow, that was really good. Like having a nice meal. You know what I mean? Like when you have like a nice dinner, like you're like, wow, that was good, but you're not like jumping up and down. It wasn't one of
Yeah.
those pay-per-views, which is fine to me. And this is and another thought that comes to mind is, remember how SummerSlam was? Where
Mhm.
it was a lot of, okay, this is now the new regime, and like different things were happening that were like, oh, this wouldn't happen with Vince, or oh, this person's getting more time, and blah blah blah. That's what I felt. This was another step in that direction with like Triple H style pay-per-views and Triple H style. Like, this is how things are going to be run under the Papa Paul era. And I mean, from everything, I mean, we're kind of all over the board. So, I mean, having Asuka come as Kana, I think her name was in Japan,
Mhm.
that like
Yeah.
that look,
Yeah.
um, dropping, dropping
Okay.
the
Do you
name.
wanna try to go over, like, match by match?
I would like to if
Okay.
we can keep on track, but
Yes.
I'm hyped up. I'm
I know.
hyped
Okay, so
up.
let's just try and stay on topic then. So
I'll
let's start
try.
with the men's Royal Rumble. So my biggest complaint from the Royal Rumble is, first of all, Bray Wyatt is, like, one of the cutest human beings ever.
He's
Anyway,
adorable, isn't he?
I know you have a crush on him.
Adorable little dark man.
I absolutely love that Gunther started. I am like,
Unbelievable.
I wouldn't say I mean, I know I joke about this. I wouldn't say I'm a rat for Imperium, but like, I feel like I'm a rat
No,
for
you are.
Imperium.
No,
Yeah.
and I'll be
And
with you because
in the non-traditional rat definition, you know,
you're
I'd be a
we'll
rat for
figure out a name
Vinci.
for it. I like coming up
Okay.
with name stuff, but
I feel like being a rat is just funny. It's like it's too funny for me to just
empirical.
act like it's,
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, so I love that Gunther started, and I love that they had Sheamus. Cody Rhodes is coming out now to speak, by the way. I like that we had that because obviously we all know how good their matches have been. And I felt like the overall thing was okay. It was kind of a bummer. I feel like that they announced 27 of the participants in it before the match even started, because I'm like, that left 3 surprises, and it was like Booker T, Logan Paul, and then who was the third one? I forget, because it ended up not being Madcap Moss. He got kicked out of the match.
Well, Rey Mysterio.
I know. Well, I was gonna say that was another thing that was kind of problematic, because
It was a weird Rumble.
they technically only had 29 men in the match. So that was why too, like, when, by the way, I just want to let everybody know this dude over here spoiled both Rumble winners
All right.
for me. So wait.
All
so
right.
when I was abruptly told that Cody had won, I was like, wait a second, Rey never came in. So I was waiting for somebody to come out, like whether it was going to be, I was like, maybe it's Sammy. I was like, I don't know. I was hoping it was going to be somebody, but yeah, I feel like that's kind of a problematic thing, I guess, that a lot of people were complaining about, actually.
Yeah, I'm just tweeting out a stat right now.
I was gonna say you weren't listening to me. You didn't.
No, I was half listening because I can't. I'll say it now and then I'll tweet out later. This is the second Rumble in history to only have 29 participants in it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the other Rumble was?
No, not off the top of my head.
1998.
All right. Well, Stone Cold Steve Austin won that year, so
He did.
You know, and because Cody's out right now, I was very excited to see him return, and obviously I'm a fan of Cody, so I'm not mad about him winning. But this is my thing, and I've said it on here a bunch, and I know, but I think
said it a lot.
I know, but I need to. I feel like I need to explain myself, because I was getting questioned on Twitter because I was saying I didn't want Cody to win, and for me, it's because I really just feel like the story that he came back to WWE with, which was like trying to get to the top of the mountain, trying to do what his dad wasn't able to do, and trying to be the first Rhodes to, you know, win the WWE title, and like he had to overcome all these obstacles and blah blah blah. Like, I was really hoping that we were going to see like a longer journey to him getting like even a title shot, like not even winning the title, getting a title shot, and then that way he won the title. I felt like it would just mean so much more because of everything that he had to go through. And so, you know, he's getting emotional. This man, he's become such a sap since he had a daughter. I can't. Anyway,
that's what happens when you have kids. You get emotional.
I know, but he's just such a sweet guy. Okay. Anyway, and so, you know, him winning the Rumble is great, and I'm happy for him, but I don't know. I just feel like having him immediately thrown into the title picture and at the biggest show all year, I'm just like, well, what are they going to do between now and then? Because it's like, is he going to feud with Roman? Like, what are we going to do? Like, I don't know. And I would assume they're going to split the titles before then. So it's just, I don't know. I'm wondering if they're going to force him to pick like which one he's going for. You know, it's like, oh, he's going to face the undisputed champion. And it's like, okay, but what if the title split? Then what? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like there's so many things. I don't know.
I'm having brain blasts upon brain blasts from.
Is it about the men's match?
No, it's about what you're saying.
Oh,
like
okay.
What you can do. Like you could have Sammy because of this going on, because it's already been advertised, Elimination Chamber. Like you have Sammy go for a title, and you know, if it's before or after the match, and when I say before, I mean like weeks leading up to it, you have Cody come out and say, "Oh, I won the Rumble. I'm the next person to get a title shot," because like, and then he just goes into a promo about how he's been a lifetime and how he deserves it, blah blah blah. And then it's like, no, like Sami Zayn's like, no, I deserve to take down. And then you have that. What if one night you get Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, obviously, and then the next night you get Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns?
I mean, maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. It's just like this. You can do a lot. It's awesome.
Well, and yeah, I mean, it would be. I would love to see Sammy versus Cody, but that's not going to work because they're both going to be baby faces, so that's not
See,
going to work.
I think we should do away with that.
I don't. I'm with that, but I think it's always just because they want you to root for somebody and they want you to boo somebody. It's just like in any story, they want you there to be a bad guy and to be a good guy. So when they put two good guys together, it's like, I mean,
yeah, but
I don't think it's a bad business move, but it's just
no, it's not. Yeah, But what I'm saying is, now that wrestling fans, I would say, have a lot more insight and a lot more knowledge
it's not
about.
happening.
I'm just saying that it's just there's a lot more knowledge now than there was years ago.
But then you also have to include how many children watch. They all do not have the well-developed brains that we do.
Okay. That's why it won't happen to WWE.
Yes.
But yeah, the men's rumble was good. I just want to get to this comment because this kind of has to do with the men's rumble. Because
we're trying to stay on topic.
Pat McAfee returned, and I called it.
So did I. I tweeted about all of my possible returns. I said possible. Yes. Did you not see my tweet?
I was driving around Boston today delivering fish.
I know.
I was on Twitter at 6:45.
I want you to. I have to tell you who I tweeted out because I was right on all of them.
Okay, that's why you texted me and my predictions were right. And I'm like, yeah, from what we talked about in the show, yeah.
Okay, I missed one. So no, I tweeted out my predictions and I meant to include Natalya, but for some reason when I tweeted this out, I had brain fart. So I said Asuka, Chelsea Green, Beth Phoenix, Naomi, which that was okay. Naomi and Zack Ryder, Pat McAfee and Edge. Those are my guesses. Naomi, I put in there because I was like, if I don't put her in there, she's not gonna.
No, you played the odds. That's well done. I'll give you props for that.
But I agree with David's comment. Like, I was very excited to see McAfee back, and they were on a roll tonight. Like, saying what did he say? Like about Dominic saying that he was like a piece of shit or something, and he like kept saying it. He said "son of a bitch." Like he was like on a roll, and I was like, this is when you know that Vince is not in his ear. And he said something too. I don't know if you caught it. I think it was during the main event. He said that he missed something, and then they were like, well, why weren't you watching? And he's like, well, because for 25 years I was told I needed to watch the monitor. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah, I did hear that.
So Cole was like giving them some sass, and I was just like, yeah, no, see, times have changed.
It was incredible. It was really like that's another element to the it's so good. But McAfee and Graves and Cole had such a good, I would say, premier live event or pay-per-view chemistry where, yes, you have Cole and is it Neil Patrick or Kevin Patrick on Raw. They have a really good flow and chemistry. NXT with Booker and Vince Joseph, I think his name is, they have a good back and forth. And then obviously on SmackDown, they have fucking Cole and Pat McAfee, like the two polar opposites that if they had their own little sitcom, it would probably be picked up by Peacock itself, because it would be that, like, the dynamics they have right now are so good, and it's something that is so vital to the show that a lot of people really don't get if they're going to the show or whatnot, but they make it, they include you at the show while you're watching it at home. And that's what I love about their commentary.
I think they feed off of McAfee too, because he's so outside of the realm of like being professionally trained to be a commentator in wrestling. And so he speaks a lot as a fan, and So it kind of takes Cole and whoever else he's working with out of their like super professional, like head on straight role. And it makes it kind of cool. Cause then also McAfee has no idea what's going on. He's never told anything. He doesn't know who's going to like nothing. He knows absolutely nothing about matches.
And that's how
Um,
it should be.
and I think that's what it makes his commentary interesting too, because he's reacting very similarly to how people are reacting at home.
Oh yeah.
And then I
Again.
think that like Cole feeds off that because Cole knows everything that's happening, but having someone next to you that's like freaking out and having a good old time is gonna, rub off on you at some point. So
That hug that they exchanged.
oh, that was genuine. They're like,
That was so heartwarming.
Cole adores him. It's kind of cute.
And the great thing is that Michael Cole was the one who flipped out at Pat McAfee for wearing shorts at WrestleMania. And at first I was like, fuck you, Cole. Like, come on, dude. But
Yeah.
I after obviously getting to know them and through commentary and then reading more about that incident, he spoke to McAfee afterwards. They had like a long conversation. He was like, I did it not because I, hated the look of it, but like I was, Vince was here and I wanted to,
Yeah.
it was like trying to look out for you type of thing, which I so get that. Michael Cole is one of the, I mean, you can't be in the position that he's in without, putting in that effort, putting in that work and just being a good guy who, and stuff like that. It's really nice to see.
So let's move on to the pitch black match, Bray Wyatt versus LA Knight.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was okay. So at first I just want to talk about when they were coming out, right? So LA Knight in neon yellow.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone knows this, but he's like one of my husbands. I'm like currently obsessed with him. So him in yellow with like a nice fresh tan, hair on fleek, as the children say. He looks really good. And then it made more sense once they had the black light, because then it was neon. And I was like, oh, because like he hadn't worn yellow that we had seen yet. It was like black and red is like what we kept seeing. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. And Bray was almost having himself a heel Randy Orton moment with how long it took him to get to the ring. I was like,
oh my God, it was incredible.
I mean,
it was the entire song.
Yeah, but it was just like literally what we were just talking about, like the Undertaker taking forever to get to the ring, and I was like, now Bray Wyatt's like, LOL, it's my turn, and I was like, okay. I felt like the match was interesting. I mean, I liked it, but I felt a little like, I wouldn't say disappointed, but I was like, I think I was kind of hoping for more. But the ending again furthered the storyline. And then of course Howdy, I want to know who Howdy is, because
Dallas.
He messed up. He like completely missed LA, and I'm just like,
no,
you had one job. You had one job.
I think that's going to be his new move. It's a spinning elbow drop.
No, but he missed LA. So that's what I'm saying. He literally missed him when he jumped off. He did not hit. He like barely got him, is what I'm saying. It's like you had one job. You were up there for how long?
I don't think he was trying. Okay. I think he was trying to play it safe and just like played it way too safe.
Yeah, well, because it was obvious to me that he missed, and it was obvious to a lot of people that he missed. But
don't you think that could be his move, a spinning elbow drop?
I mean, maybe. It kind of looked like he just like flopped. Like he was just like, I'm going to spin and turn around and fall.
Yeah, I think like the point of it was just to like, I don't know. I don't know what it was. I'm honestly not even counting it as a wrestling move, because I felt like the plan there was like, all right, Howdy's going to fall into this abyss and Bray Wyatt is going to just pop up and the ending shot will pop up, and then we'll transition into a commercial about the WWE shop and move on with the pay-per-view.
How do you feel about Howdy being there?
It was awesome.
How do you feel about him like becoming physical?
I like him becoming physical because as much as I do give wrestling fans credit nowadays, they're still not all there. So the whole element.
You mean for my theory?
I think your theory is spot on. I really do.
I really wished that that's what it was.
No, it's something along those lines for sure.
It still could be, I guess.
No, and then but because here's the thing, you have this is why I am going with your theory in a way, because they had the puppets back. They had the Firefly Funhouse friends there personified in mascot costumes. Like, we're going to get a lot of that. They're not going to be wrestlers. Okay. They might be like, the indie people or, the younger guys that pop
Yeah,
up
yeah,
and
yeah.
try to get a rub for the show and
Well,
whatnot.
it's just like the fake security that they have is always indie
Exactly.
wrestlers, so they can take bumps.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
It's so funny when I see Limitless people or whatever, like, get in there. I'm like, I know you're not a security guard.
No, I know. Well, and it's just like, how often do you find like a 6'5" security guard that's like jacked? Like, you don't
Yeah,
like that you go and hire from like a private firm is what I
Yeah.
mean. It's not like that does not happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I get that. That's why I really love this whole character of Bray Wyatt, is because this is like, and I'll transition kind of into this point with LA Knight losing and literally being buried into an abyss in a way, and you have the Twitter trolls out there and they're like, oh, LA Knight, they're burying him. It's like, are you kidding me? You put
No.
anyone in this against Bray Wyatt, and he's going to do the exact same thing. LA Knight is so over with everyone, and he can take this loss and still like go after a guy like Ricochet or someone in that, like, right about to be a mid-card champion. You know what I mean? So I just think it's not a big deal that they did that. Like, it was for the story. This was about Bray Wyatt, not LA Knight, and that's where the difference is.
I am wondering if the ending means that they wrote him off TV for a bit. Like, are we not going to see LA for a couple weeks because he's going to be like pretending he's incapacitated?
By like
I mean,
a couple weeks, what do you mean?
But see, I wouldn't be surprised if it's maybe just one. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not at all, though, because it was like,
I wouldn't either, yeah.
He wasn't set on fire. Like, he just had a guy jump off, which is not something that we haven't seen.
He wasn't
before.
set on fire.
It wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't engulfed in flames, and then we're gonna be like, oh yeah, he's got third-degree burns over 50% of his body. He's gonna take a few weeks to come back, because it's wrestling. His burns will magically be gone.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not at all. And I wonder if this is just like the end, like if this is just the end of their feud and we're just done with it.
I agree.
But I'm very excited about LA Knight, and I know I'm so obsessed with him right now. It's like actually insane. Like, Chris Van Vliet just did an interview with him. I watched all 30 minutes. I'm just like, I just sat there and watched all 30 minutes like it was a television show. I was just like listening to everything he said, and I was like,
he's so intelligent,
and he's so good looking.
I mean, that's what
yeah.
He's very good looking. Yeah.
He's very good looking.
I mean, it's just incredible what
this is the thing that bums me out, though, right? And I guess I can't be super bummed about it, but what is so crazy to me is the idea of like developing younger stars and stuff like that, right? And so everyone's like on the thing about Austin Theory, and it's like, because he's only 24, and I'm like, Roman's becoming the face of the company. He's 37. Finn Balor is getting the biggest push of his main roster career. He's 42. LA Knight is projected to be a top guy at some point. He's 40. So it's kind of like, I get the idea behind it, but like, come on. Like, we have to embrace these older guys because, first of all, they don't look like it. They don't perform like it. And generally, the older and more seasoned veteran they are, the better they are, because they have way more experience. So I'm very excited because I mean, when you see it's like, oh, LA Knight's being brought up to the main roster and he's 40. Okay, well, he's got like 2 years in him. No, he's got more than that.
He's got also, like 10 years because Bobby Lashley's 50 years old, people.
Yeah, something like that.
He's 50.
I know. I remember I sent it to you because you're really bad with age, thinking that fucking Sable was like 50 in like 2000. But anyway,
I thought Sable was like 45.
I know, she's 55 now or something. Anyway, let's move on. Alexa Bliss versus Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. I was underwhelmed.
It did a job. It moved along.
The storyline for Alexa.
Yeah, and this is where we're gonna that. A lot of these, it was underwhelming, or it was okay, it did the trick. It it's not about the result, you know, it's not about, you know, who's going to be champion at the end of it. This is a feud that Bianca needs to have so that she can, you know, build that title resume or championship resume, whatever, tomato potato. And it's for Alexa to finally lose, hit a rock bottom, hit that breaking point, and then she can revel in who she really is and take charge.
My thing too is though, as much as I love Bianca, I kind of don't want her to be champion at Mania, because this would be the third Mania in a row that she was champion or became champion at Mania and main eventing as the woman. And it's like, I get it. She's great. She's already a legend. She's like, you know, future Women's Hall of Famer because she's so good. It's like, why don't we give someone else a chance this time? You know? So I'm assuming that we're gonna have Rhea versus Bianca anyway, so
But I
Bianca's
like
gonna be
that.
champion. But
I would
I
want
don't
that.
mind that. I don't mind if she went against Charlotte either, though. That would be fire too.
No,
But
no, you gotta keep her on Raw,
well, no, I'm
and you
saying
gotta
if that were the match, I
oh,
would be
okay.
fine with it too, is what I'm saying.
What if she
Um,
challenged Roxanne?
but yeah, I mean,
Do that.
I don't know. It just seems like a lot for them to be doing that for Bianca so early in her career. Like, yeah, you're gonna main event Mania 3 years in a row as champion.
Well,
As
it's
long as
all
she,
about
let's have Rhea needs to fucking win.
Rhea
We
needs to
need Rhea to
win.
win. You cannot have Rhea at this high at this point. Have her win the Rumble single-handedly at number 1. Have her be like the ringleader of Judgment Day,
Yo, if she's the ringleader and
and
the real
then have her lose
champion.
at Mania. You know?
No, she is the ringleader. Put a championship on her, and then she's like the head of the Judgment Day. That is a brilliant idea. Judgment
Yeah.
Day runs on Rhea. All right, like they are, and it's not a bad thing. It's actually very good because it shows like just range and the dynamic that you can have in there where it's like, oh, Finn's the leader because he's the, you know, most vet. You have Damian Priest, well, he's the strong guy. It's like,
Yeah.
no, Rhea Ripley is really the mastermind behind all this. You know, what do you think she's using Dominic as? She's
Yeah.
a fucking puppet.
So obviously we're gonna see Alexa, you know, turn
Revel in
something.
who she is.
And that's basically what came out of this match. I mean, I guess we're gonna probably see it in Elimination Chamber, which I think is like the perfect setting for Alexa to be like full blown crazy,
Mm-hmm.
to have an Elimination Chamber match with Bianca. I just feel that's gonna be good. But kind of since we were talking about it, the Women's Rumble match. This is the thing that I love about these pay-per-views where the women and the men get the same match. Like it's like, you know, the Rumble, Elimination Chamber,
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank. I love it because how often do the women outdo the men? It's not every single one, but it's like a
Not every
majority
single.
of the time. It's like 75% or more of the time women have a better match. In my opinion.
I would say because it's more unpredictability. Maybe
I don't know. I think that it's just
they put a lot of effort into, especially in the Rumble match that I saw. There was a lot. The storytelling was better in the women's Rumble match, where the action was better in the men's. Like the women's match, there was a lot of storytelling with Becky and Bayley, and you know, Damage Control versus Becky Lynch, and then you have you know, Rhea Ripley just being the Iron Woman, and then you know, have different people coming in, kind of getting their feet wet. I'm kind of blanking on a little, like some of the participants, but
I
we
have the
didn't
whole
have any,
list right here.
but we did not have any legends.
No, and I love that because remember that's what I said I didn't want. We had Michelle McCool though. But
which I want to state for the record, it was right after Kyle and I did an unboxing for Underground Sports Philadelphia. Go check it on YouTube. And we were just hanging out in the chat, just shooting the shit. I was watching the Rumble, he was doing stuff. And I go, oh, they show Michelle McCool. That's cool. She's with her kids. Like, what if they just had her fucking come out from there? Like, what if they just had her like come out and just fight? and you'd be like, "Ha, that'd be pretty funny." And then
Yeah,
it fucking happened.
yeah.
That's why I make
But yeah, no, I mean, I was happy that we didn't have a bunch of legends and whatever come in, because that is how they've done it in the past, where it was almost like half of the women that were involved was like women from 5+ years ago or whatever, and it's like, okay, but like what about the women that are actually there?
yeah.
um
Here comes Alundra
but
Blade.
I have a few thoughts. So
Is one of them about a girl who is not like most?
yeah, we'll get there in a second. So a couple notes. I love that Rhea was number 1 and she won. 2, I love that Dewdrop is no longer Dewdrop and that she is Piper Niven. Thank God for that girl. I feel so bad for her
I
because that
felt
was the most.
so bad. She
I'm
was Dewdrop.
surprised that they kept her name that as long as they did. Honestly, I don't really. I
That
mean,
was
I know
something
that.
they had to do right. They had to just do it right, and
Well,
we're
but I
just
mean,
like,
Eva was released so long ago, like, so it just is kind of crazy that they kept that. Very excited to see Asuka as her new Asuka. She looked like she was having the time of her life, and I was just like, you are everything. There's just something so infectious about her energy. I just love it so
oh, it's
much.
unbelievable. She
Um,
is, I think, the best. I saw this on Twitter, and I completely agree. I think she might be the best woman's wrestler in the company.
yeah, I mean, I think people would debate, Charlotte maybe, but
Yeah, but that Japan style
no, I know is
is
like,
unmatched.
yeah,
There's something special about the Japanese wrestling style. It's just,
mm-hmm,
oh my god, I don't understand it, and I do all at the same time because they don't. It's just their moves are so well done and feel like they actually are being done and like they're physically being brutalized, which is
yeah,
not only that, but like the European style too. And transitioning how I can make this relevant to this topic, staying on track, is Piper Nivens was in like a British women's wrestling uh, organization before
mm-hmm,
this, and she used to fight Alba Fire a lot.
yeah,
And those matches, and these are just compilations that I see on YouTube. So if YouTube, you're probably listening, keep it up. And I love them like so much because it's not like the women's wrestling where it's like, oh my god, like yeah, your stupid 2000s bullshit. Like no, these girls are absolutely kicking the shit out of each other, and
mm-hmm,
good wrestling too. It's not sloppy. It's very fundamental in a lot of the moves they do, and then it's just brutal.
yeah,
That brutal style, and that's what Piper can bring to the SmackDown women's division. SmackDown women's division needs a wicked boost.
and
Wicked.
that's what bums me out. It seems like Naya is back because they
Oh,
are
she's back. She
releasing a.
got merch.
I know, and I'm just like, are you fucking kidding
She's not
me?
like most girls.
I'm
They
just like,
won't
who
listen to what
asked for her
you
back? Like, she's not even like, I can't. Like, I don't want to be like super. I just don't get it. Like, no one.
No one.
First of all, the pop she got. Who the hell was in this audience? Because people were like, "Oh, Cody got a big reaction." She sounded like she got a bigger pop than he did,
She
and I'm like,
botched. That's why.
but I was like, what is happening? Like, it's just like, the thing that I don't get it either is like, she's not even good in the ring. She's not good on the mic.
No, she's
Like, she
not.
hurts people. She's
Yeah.
controversial because she said a whole bunch of dumb shit since she left. I'm just like, I don't understand the appeal. So with Triple H, I'm just like, I'm kind of confused
And she hangs out
about
with Mojo Rawley. Like, what are you doing?
she what?
She hangs out with Mojo Rawley.
Oh, well, I mean, a lot of people do. Like, Alexa's like good friends with him too. So it's
Oh, I
like,
just don't. I'm just not a fan of him. I just think he's a goof.
well, he's also best friends with Gronk. So does that surprise
There
you?
you go.
Okay.
Circle gets the
But
square.
yeah, I don't get it. And so I was hoping that it was going to be a one-off, and then I saw that she got merch and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, whose decision was this? But anyway, let's get into the main event cuz I don't want to keep talking about her.
The match was so
Um
good. The match was so good.
Yeah, I liked that Sammy was the only one that was out there with Roman other than
Loved
Paul
it.
Heyman. I liked that there was storytelling throughout the match too. It wasn't just at the end. You know, I liked that they were like, "Go get the chair." And then Sammy was like not wanting to do it, couldn't find a chair, and then
All
he was
back.
hesitant to give it to him, and then like, you know, it was a close call on the pin. And so Sammy was like, you know, taking a sigh of relief because Roman didn't lose. And just how brutal Roman was being
Oh my god, that
to
was
Kevin. I
yeah.
mean, that spear through the barricade was not even, I mean, we already talked about the steel steps, but that spear through the barricade, I was like,
Yeah,
dang.
that
Um and then I also throughout this whole thing, I talk about it a lot when we talk just about the storyline of the bloodline in general, but I I feel like I just have to like reiterate how good Roman has gotten since being champion
oh incredible.
and since this whole bloodline situation, the storyline has progressed because he does. Is that my mic or your mic?
What?
I keep hearing it's my mic. Can you hear that or is that just on my end?
I just hear it on yours.
You hear that?
I did when you moved it. Before
Okay,
that, I
well,
didn't.
it's still happening when I'm talking too. But anyway, I've just noticed that he just like the way that he carries himself, the way how he does the little things, like even when he pinned Kevin and he just like threw his legs like he was like disgusted and just like over it. It was just like
Yeah,
those little things that he does are so much better. His facial expressions, the way he speaks, like his mannerisms, it's just gotten so much better because I was a big Shield girl,
really.
obviously. Big old Seth Rollins fan. I love the Shield in general, but I always was like Roman wasn't my favorite because I was like he just can't hang with the other two, you know, because as far as like um personality and speaking and whatever, they were just so much further ahead
Yeah.
than he was. And I'm assuming it's because, you know, he came up through FCW. The others were worked the indies before that. So I'm sure that's partially why. But like, I mean, he's come leaps and bounds since then. It's like incredible to see. And so it's like I had to point that out.
And I love this match in this match. KO utilizing the top rope a lot, really showing off that he can be a high flyer if need be. And honestly, that little botch he had, like I think we all can come to a agreement here that no one cares. Like just no one cares that he screwed that up because the
Who?
way he followed it up was such a professional move, and that's a guy that you know has been in this game a long time to just oh, it happened. Boom, you move over. I'm going to do another move to get you, you know, soften back up, whatever. And then he does it from the second rope. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's little stuff like that that separates the, you know, the great superstars and then future Hall of Famers.
I also tweeted too, and I had people, well, at least one person took issue with what I said, but I feel like this match and then how the ending happened, I feel like that was just a solid performance, but also solidified Roman. Like that solidified Roman. Like this is gonna come down and be a legendary title reign. Like that just cemented his legacy, I feel like, because they've been wanting to make him into this like larger than life character. They wanted him to have this really long title reign. They want him to be the guy. They want him to be the face of the company, but they want him to be kind of like the opposite of what John Cena was, but at the same level as John Cena and to be considered one of the all-time greats. And I know it's still early in his career, but I feel like this put him at that level, like even in my eyes, because you know there are people who will say he's a Hall of Famer, he's this and that, and I'm like, dude, it's like really early in his career to be like saying these things. But to me, this was so good. Like this is the type of thing that I've wanted. Like people really enjoyed when it was him versus Lesnar and Lesnar had like the tractor and whatever. Yeah, like that's fine, but it's like but that was so over the top that it was just like that's why you enjoyed it. It wasn't because of the storytelling. It wasn't because it meant anything. It was just because it was like you've never seen that before and it's never going
Mhm.
to be done again. And that's why you enjoyed it so much. This was something that, like, plenty of times there has been stories where it was like these group of guys against this guy. They beat him up in the ring. They handcuff him. I mean, Judgment Day just did it to Edge. Like, it's not even
Yeah.
that long ago that we saw it. But this was so well done and from all involved. And it's like, to me, that just, I don't know, it just solidified Roman in my eyes as a legend. And people are not agreeing, but maybe legend is too big of a word. I don't know, but I feel like, I mean, he's been a champion for over 3 years. I can't imagine, like, and in this era he's been a champion for over 3 years. It's not like we're talking about the 80s where, you know, they were champion for 5 years or whatever, you know.
Yeah, and
To me that
defended
says a lot about him.
11 shows. Yeah, no, it absolutely does. I mean, this match was so good in the ring, obviously in the match itself, but it's afterwards that he, really solidified himself with, the chair shot from Sammy, but then he comes back and he annihilates him, and the ending of him, you broke my family as he's throwing the roses on. Like, just very little details that together really enhance your character and make you that much over. And it was so well done. It was unbelievable for what he did, and it was just that whole segment was awesome. Like, it was just awesome.
So I don't understand my mic. Hold on one second.
Well, as you fix that, I will share. So my friend, co-host of the Gillette Gazette pod, who wrong, right here.
Hello. Can you
Hello,
hear me?
I can hear
He's
you.
still doing it.
Oh no, he was supposed to come over tonight to watch the Rumble. However, not feeling too great, but he still wanted to watch it. Which honestly, that proves to me that he was really into starting to get to watch this stuff, and I like that. And he was texting me throughout because first off, he thought the Royal Rumble was one match, and then shut it off, which that was so adorable. Just so innocent, and you gotta love when that type of shit happens, because that was a genuine, oh my god, I did not know that. And I was like, no, this match, like, keep watching because there's another Rumble, and yeah, everything. So he loved it and was so entertained by the moves in it and whatever. But I have a couple, I'll share, the questions here, not the actual text. But he was like talking about the Rumble match. He's like, well, why, I'm trying to find it here. But he's like reacting to all these, moves. And he's like, oh my god, that double kick. Oh my god, like, staying, why are they going up to the top rope in a match? Like, that would, can't they like fall off? And I'm like, part of it, like, it was just so many like questions that it sound like we would laugh at it because it's just laughable to us.
Yeah.
But it's for someone who is trying to breach in there and it just has no idea. It's really just awesome to see those questions. Like, it's like, why? Oh, like, for instance, when Booker T, this was my favorite
The
comment.
spinneroonie.
He was like, why is he celebrating? Like, what is he doing? He's about to throw him out right after. I'm like, yeah, that's part of it. That was
You know what's funny too is my sister had put it we realized that we could be on Peacock at the same time, like on the same account on the same time.
Oh yeah.
And so I had it on in my room, and she was downstairs because she was making dinner for my nephew. My nephew is 4, in case people didn't know. And so she had the pay-per-view on downstairs because she wanted to see the Rumble match, at least the men's Rumble match. And so, you know, my sister was getting excited because she doesn't watch wrestling really, but she'll pay attention and listen to what I have to say. And my nephew was so adorable because he, you know, sees glimpses of wrestling or whatever. And for the most part, my sister tries to not let him watch like too much of it because he's in that he's in that stage of imitating, but doesn't understand that it's not real. You know what I mean?
We've been there.
Yeah. So, but he was like sitting there and he was like asking us who we liked. And so like he would cheer for them when they were like doing something good, or like when I was coming downstairs, because my sister was like, we're watching it down here. Elias was coming out. And so I was like,
Yo,
okay. I ran downstairs, and as I'm coming down, my nephew was like, Auntie, Elias, it's Elias. And I was like, oh, I just was like, this is so cute, because he's like, because he knew that I liked Elias. So he's like, Auntie, it's Elias. Like, he was so excited to tell me.
that's awesome.
And he was, no, it gets better. So he was like cheering and so excited with us like the whole time. And then we go upstairs because he's getting ready to go to bed, and he watches some TV shows before he goes to bed, like little kid shows. And we get to the top of the stairs, and then he starts like trying to like pretends to like push me, and he's like like elbowing me, like and he's like wanting to wrestle. And I was like, okay, no, like we can't do that right now, I leave.
Downstairs.
His dad comes upstairs, and they're like watching the show or whatever. And then he kept saying like that he wanted to wrestle. And my sister texted me, and she was like, he just took his shirt off and said he wants to wrestle. And so him and my brother-in-law started rolling around like on the bed, like pretend wrestling. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so bummed I missed it. But I was like, that is so adorable. Like, he was so genuinely excited for us, and just to be able to watch it. And I don't know, it's just kind of cool to be able to see that like through someone else,
Yeah. No,
like
it's awesome.
someone. So it just reminded me, since you were talking about Sora, like I know that Sora's much older than
Much
Four.
open, no, but it's the same thing. Like you don't get it. Like
Yeah.
even where he was imitating, I don't think Sora was jumping up and down on his bed, wrestling stuffed animals or
ripping his shirt off and being like,
let's
let's
off and
rumble,
wrestling his roommates.
let's rumble, baby.
Are you ready to rumble?
And they're gonna be like, what?
It's like, dude,
but
dude,
yeah, so I thought that was cool, so
oh yeah, it's always great, and this event's awesome. I'm happy that it turned out the way it did, because I like how there was no Rock and certain.
So did I. Oh, we should talk about that.
Yes,
I want to talk about that
quickly.
Yeah, because you want to go to bed.
Yeah, I have been up since 5 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, yeah. So I know a lot of people were hoping for Rock, and they felt like, especially because the men's Rumble was at the beginning of the show, that meant something big was going to happen at the end of the show, which a lot of people were like, it's got to be Rock, it's got to be Rock.
And in the crowd.
Yeah, and you kind of think that it's possible, because of all the talk about it. I'm so glad that he wasn't there, though, because I feel like it almost would have ruined that whole segment, or it wouldn't have been nearly as good as what we saw if The Rock was involved.
Yes, I completely agree, from the most biased Rock fan stan ever.
No, I saw a lot of people saying that too. I mean, there was a lot of people who were wanting Rock to be there, and they were like, no.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I miss him too, David. And as much as I would have loved to see him, I am okay with it because of how well the end turned out and the way they did it. It really wasn't, and there wasn't a need for him. There really wasn't. And I really much rather what we got at the end of the day, because this is something that is going to make us tune into Raw. It's gonna make it.
And it's a good thing too that we can sit here and say it didn't need Rock. Like, that says a lot, because I mean, to say that, oh, it didn't need a legend, it didn't need this guy, that's a huge deal. So that just hats off to whoever wrote that segment, and not even just that, because a lot of people were saying, kudos to the creative team, kudos to the men that performed it. Yeah. Because you can have a lot of pitched ideas to you, or storylines fed to you that you have to go out and do, but if you don't do them well, there's a huge difference there, and it couldn't have been any better.
It could.
I'm almost bummed that it's Saturday and not Sunday, and now we have to wait 2 days until Raw.
I know, we have to wait 2 days till Raw, and 3 days, Sara, for the Raw Rewind, which you will find on Sara's YouTube channel, and clips in our archives on that from past streams. Be on the lookout for that. Follow us on Twitter at Pat_Pitts and at SMarshXO. Follow me on Instagram as well, Pitsy35. I do a lot of those like NGL question things, answer questions. I love it. So keep it coming. I love answering questions for peeps. And follow Sara at S Marsh, right?
On
X
what?
Instagram.
Yeah, S Marsh _. I
Yes.
need to figure it out. Maybe I need to try and have it a universal name everywhere.
Yeah, we'll figure.
So it's just the same screen name.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll get to that point. And David, Fly Eagles Fly, baby, for
Ew.
Sunday. I can't wait to watch it, and then can't wait to watch Raw on Monday, and then check out our podcast. I will give you that's be coming out. Go subscribe. Pitts and Sarah's wrestling show it's Pitts. I'll figure it out. Point is, I'm tired. And just go follow us everywhere. Subscribe to Sarah's YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. God bless. Remember that you could do it. All you got to do is try.